Welcome to Secrets of Flowers and Birds. Discourses from Así Hablaba Quetzalcóatl, Thus Spoke Quetzalcoatl, on Words of Wisdom. Así Hablaba Quetzalcóatl, Thus Spoke Quetzalcoatl is a beautiful tale that offers upliftment to all truth seekers yearning for spiritual understanding. In this book, we follow the travels of the legendary Aztec god Quetzalcoatl, who is the story's enlightened master. In his offering of discourses to earnest seekers, we see that Quetzalcoatl highlights the importance of the inward journey. Transcending both time and space, this journey connects us with the inner heavenly light and music. Thus, the words from Así Hablaba Quetzalcóatl illuminate one's spiritual endeavors with profound truth. Let's continue with selections from Así Hablaba Quetzalcóatl, Thus Spoke Quetzalcoatl, where the teachings of the Noble Truths touch deep within and awaken the yearning for spiritual illumination. In God. Pointing towards the sky, he said, "When you learn to see your inner sky, this one which you see outside will seem dark and asleep, and the stars will seem dim, and the suns will be like very tiny lights. Because the light of the Spirit is life, and it could never see with the eyes of matter, nor feel with a material heart, nor speak with the voice of matter. Only looking with the eye of the Spirit can you see the Spirit face to face, and only feeling with the heart of the Spirit can one be filled with the Spirit, and only when the voice of the Spirit speaks in oneself can one speak to the Spirit in each one." How could the root talk about the branch, and how could soil talk about air, or fire about water? And nevertheless, they complement each other, and when united, they give life. Look at how the roots in their silence feed the stalks and the leaves that are born in the light. Look at how water nourishes them in silence, and also fire and soil. Do they ask for something? Isn't it true that by giving themselves they are not receiving, and while detaching they are not being filled? Ask yourselves and find out what is that which raises you and what is that which you raise. And when you have discovered it, fulfill your duty, because just as a fruit ends up in the mouth of man, becoming a part of him, in the same way man ends up in God, integrated with him. Only knowing a living illuminated master can one recognize his own master. Through the eye of the Spirit, we see the inner heaven and its levels. The Spirit can only speak to the Spirit through its own celestial language. In the contemplation of the inner light and inner sound lays the realization of the ultimate truth. How is wisdom taught? Somebody asked him, "What is the big secret?" And he answered, "There is no secret. The levels of man are what keeps secret from him all that is not at his level. The difference between a wise man and an ignorant one is that the wise man sees his wisdom everywhere, while in the same places the ignorant sees only his ignorance." And he asked him again, "And how is wisdom taught?" Then, looking at a flower, he said to him, "If you ask a flower, it will never be able to explain to you how it was born. Look at it, and it will open its secrets to you." "But does wisdom come from any place?" And he answered him, "Does the wind come from a certain place? Does water come from a certain place? If you try to find out where it comes from, you will run into the cycle or the circle. If you do not look for it, it will be there. Then, what do you suggest us to do in order to become wisdom? Notice that everything that is outside of you is yourself in another level and adapted to different circumstances." Observation and tolerance. Wisdom can neither be taught nor learned. It comes. By practicing the teachings of a true master, supreme wisdom will be achieved. Wisdom is the most precious treasure in the universe, and also the heritage of each creature in creation. Wisdom reveals itself in the presence of the inner master. This is the night of a new day. The fog of time spreads over the face of the earth, and in the eyes of humanity, the flame becomes extinct because Sister Sadness has sat between its pupils. Man gets up every day, but he has already forgotten the canticle of the lark, and as a child walks by the hand of uncertainty and incredulity, searching for the reflections of his lost face. And his face keeps suffering just as ants keep grain, and his chest hides feelings because fear covers the streets of his existence. His forehead is full of wrong thoughts that like thorns pierce his days and nights, and they do not let the wings of knowledge spread nor allow him to sit at the angel's table. He cannot sit in the mystic solitude of the cypresses, nor accompany the joyful and vertical flight of the oaks, nor twist with pleasure with the bindweed. He cannot even accompany children, nor talk to the sun, nor tell the moon his worries. He has learned from the snake the moisture of the soil, and it has stuck to him like a rock, but he has closed his eyes to the teaching of the birds. Some have come before me and have said, "Your wishes to fly have been heard by the elderly of life. These are the norms in order for you to soar." Yet men do not want to know that flight is born from the flapping of wings, and that its impulse is the anxiety of going somewhere else. Which little bird, when teaching another one to fly, does it inside the nest? And which sparrow listens to itself while singing and looking into the mirror of echoes says to itself, "What beautiful praises come out of my throat?" My eyes are covered with tears when I look at the house that selfishness has created in the home that heaven has sought for us. But my heart is filled with joy and sings because this is the night of a new day. And just as waiting sits to rest at the edge of a fountain to catch strength, the light has sat at the edge of the world in order to elevate itself over the mountains and the valleys that are in the heart of humanity. Then forever, it will rule over the earth. Spiritual night is the main ignorance. Faith, certainty, and realization come as an effect of the contact with light's frequency. We came to this world to complete our enlightenment and to help others to realize the truth. Benevolent viewers, thank you for joining us today for Words of Wisdom